Welcome, 7th graders, to your first video on actual math instruction for the year. I'm super excited to get started. You'll see this at the beginning and for sure the end of most every video, just reminding you of all the places that you can use to help you understand the information that we cover. If this video the first time doesn't help you, you can always rewatch it. The nice thing is that you can pause me, you can rewind, and you can rewatch some things as much as you need. You can also follow along with the examples in your book. For the most part, we try to follow those. Sometimes we go a little bit off, but the book is definitely a great resource. In this case, order of operations, you might have to go in your index or do some things because this isn't directly from the book. You can also watch the personal tutors in the online textbook just by typing in a search for order of operations or Pemdas, if you'd like to call it that as well. So normally right now you would be taking out notes and writing in the target for today. And so today our target is I can simplify numeric expressions using the order of operations. This does a little bit cover into the beginning of lesson 1-2, which we actually cover tomorrow. But this little bit is on that first page if you want to check that out as well. If right now you should have the target down in your notes, and you should be following along with your notes and remembering that bringing those to class is part of your daily points. So you've heard order of operations before, Pemdas. We have the little acronym, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, if that helps you memorize it. And if you have other ways to remember and you want to bring those to class to share, that is super awesome, and they are more than welcome. So let's go over what Pemdas means and what each part is. Notice obviously we're talking about order, so this is the order in which we do things. We follow steps, we follow certain things so that we all make sure that if we're solving something, then we end up with the same answer if we do it correctly. So P stands for parentheses. Obviously we know parentheses look like that. Sometimes they're going to actually look like brackets, and there's going to be, maybe a series of numbers or a certain operation within there that we have to complete first. So anytime you see a parentheses or those brackets, that means there's something to complete in that first. Exponents are this little bit of number right at the top there. So you may have 2 squared, which really means 2 times 2. You may have 3 cubed, which means 3 times 3 times 3. Anytime you see that exponent, that tiny little number at the top, that would come after, that would be the second step after you do what's in the parentheses. Multiplication. Some symbols for multiplication are, when numbers are right next to each other with a dot. Sometimes this is rare. This is probably the last time you'll see numbers next together with the x, because that x later on is going to become our variable, and we don't want to get that mixed up. Also, numbers can be next to each other with those parentheses, just showing that you're multiplying those as well. Okay, so some different ways to see multiplication. Next would come division. We know the symbol for division is this. Sometimes it's over as well, though. I can do 6 divided by 2. Okay, sometimes it's a fraction bar, so keep that in mind. And what happens with these two is multiplication isn't always before division. These you pick to go in order left to right. Okay, so if division were actually further left, then you would do that first. So whichever goes left to right there. The same rule applies with addition and subtraction. Okay, we know addition is a plus sign, subtraction is a minus sign. These also go in order left to right. Just like we read left to right, whichever is furthermore left is the one that you do first. Okay, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's an option to remember it. Pemdas in general is a good way to memorize it. And just kind of practicing is probably the best way to know what you're doing here. So we're going to try this one. Remember that you can pause me if you want to and try one on your own and then come back and check it out. Whatever works for you is totally fine. I'm going to show you some strategies that I do when I'm doing order of operations. If I'm kind of out of practice, I like to write that acronym on the side here. I like to write PEMDAS and kind of use it as a checklist for when I'm solving. So I know that P stands for parentheses or groupings, and I look at 2 plus 3 times 2, and I don't see any parentheses, so I know that step's done. I don't see any exponents, so I know that step's done. I do see multiplication, so I'm going to solve that, and I'm going to leave the rest alone. So I know 3 times 2 is 6, so I bring that down, and I bring the rest down that I didn't change as well. Okay, you're going to end up with a nice little funnel for your answer because you're going to show your steps every time. This is definitely required. I don't see any division, so that's done. And last thing is addition. 2 plus 6 is 8. And then since I'm done, I'm simplified, there's nothing left to do. I'm just left with one number. So there's no subtraction, and I'm done there. Again, notice a funnel, okay? I'm rewriting until I get to an answer. Let's try this next one. Let's see if I can move it. No. 4 minus 3 plus 4. So maybe I want to make my checklist again. Really is depending on what you want to do. I teach you strategies. You decide what's beneficial. So I look for parentheses. There are none. I look for exponents. There are none. There is no multiplication. There is no division. There is addition and subtraction. Even though addition comes first in my Pemdas, I know that these go left to right. So I look what's furthermost on the left, and that's 4 minus 3. So I do that first, and that is 1. Bring down the rest of it, plus 4. And then I can finish 1 plus 4 is 5. Notice again, I work down, narrowing until I get to my answer. Next one is a little bit larger. You do have to remember that this is a division sign. Okay? So there's a little bit more here. Since there's more here, and I'm just getting started again, I am going to make my checklist one more time just to make sure I'm following and I'm not forgetting anything. Okay? So I look, and there are parentheses, but there's a lot going on within the parentheses. So within the parentheses by itself, I kind of have to follow the checklist again. Okay? So I'm going to work in the parentheses. Within the parentheses, are there any exponents? No. But there is multiplication and division, so I'm going to do those left to right. So my multiplication, 5 times 3 is 15, and I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the problem so that I know that I followed everything correctly. I'm still working in my parentheses, and I see that there is some division next. So I'm going to do the division part next. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And I'm going to rewrite the problem because I want to make sure that I don't miss any steps. And that if I do make a mistake, I can go back and find out where it was. If you don't show your work, you have no idea where you made a mistake. Okay, so showing your work is imperative here. All right, I'm still within the parentheses, so that this is a priority over this division right now. Okay? So I'm going to start and still be in my parentheses, and I've done the multiplication and division. Now I'm on to addition and subtraction. So 15 plus 2 is 17, and again, I'm rewriting. Notice I'm creating that nice funnel here. And my last step within my parentheses, 17 minus 3 is 14, and then I can rewrite my problem from there. So I've done the parentheses step. There's no exponents, there's no multiplication. The last one step I have is division, so I'm going to do that. 14 divided by 7 is 2. And I am completed with that, and I have a nice funnel to check off my work. Okay, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. We are going to do a sheet tomorrow in class of practice problems to work on those. And we'll have a puzzle as well for you to work on your order of operations and solving things in the correct order. So again, re-watch this video. Look in different areas. I have that Khan Academy link on my Moodle page using personal tutors. And I think we should do a pretty nice job when we get to class. So make sure you take that NICU now. Come prepared with your notes, any questions you have, and that NICU completed tomorrow.